Paddy, but
right,
no, you are on
right.
safe ground. Safe
you're all right.
I have to say.
It's not Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett. I'm struggling after that.
But the great thing about today is that people can come inside Old Trafford and watch a game of football, including some stellar names. People that normally can't get a match day ticket to come in the Premier League or the Champions League.
And you get a lot of them. Probably the match result would be a big thing for them as well. I don't think the match result will make a big difference today, as long as people get entertained. And I think when you play matches like this, John, you want plenty of goals. You don't want something coming up to half-time and no score. You want to see plenty of goals.
We will run through the caption with the Manchester United team in just a moment, but you've had a look at it. Yeah. How would you assess its strength today?
Oh, I mean, I wish they were all playing today 20 years younger in actual fact. When you look at Paul Scholes, I mean, Zidane said what every great player, I think, down through the years has said, that he said Paul Scholes is the best player he's ever seen in the middle of the park, and I certainly agree with that. Fantastic. Yapstam, Ronnie Johnson, great players, great players, and the old black magic up front, Andy and Dwight. Magic. Fantastic.
The only sadness for Manchester United that Teddy Sheringham was forced to withdraw through injury. He was to have been part of this, and Dion Dublin, another casualty, has broken his collarbone playing football. But Manchester United out there first and waiting for their Real Madrid counterparts. These sides met a year ago in the Bernabeu.
Yes.
In what was called the Corazon Classic, and at the time it was mooted that would be the first leg of a two-legged game, and in fact that is the case.
Yeah.
So Real Madrid start today with a 3-2 advantage. There are no away goals, you'll be pleased to hear. They don't count double. So if the aggregate score is level at the end of 90 minutes, and if enough of the players are still standing, then it will be a penalty shootout to decide the winners.
I don't think they'll be looking at a penalty shootout. I mean, the great thing about it, when you get older and you come onto a football pitch, and the reasons why people do finish playing football, you stand beside one goal and look at the other one, and it gets further and further away as you get older. Believe me, further and further away. But you mean, it's very difficult sometimes. I mean, I know quite a few of the United lads have been training for this occasion, but it's easy when you're their age to pull a muscle or do something.
Well, we're just about there. Real Madrid taking their time. The great Hierro, their captain.
What a player he was as well. Well, you would say that when you look at the Real Madrid team, you'd say that about them all, wouldn't you? What a player he was, what a player he was. But you'd say that about the United side as well. Terrific players. What would you pay for them, John, if they're all in their 20s? What would you pay for them?
Well, probably into hundreds of millions of pounds now. So Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to play a half for either side. And the public address announcer just whipping up the fervour within the stadium, waiting for the entry of the two teams. To the familiar matchday music here at Old Trafford, there is a genuine feel of occasion inside the stadium today. More than 60,000 tickets sold. Some of the greatest names in world football over the past 20 years assembled in one place. The chance to see whether the heroes of yesteryear have still got it. And most importantly, the opportunity to raise a substantial amount of money for the Manchester United Foundation to distribute by way of help to young people in disadvantaged areas of Greater Manchester.
See, the one thing that clubs don't get credited for, the number of things that all clubs, in England in particular, the money they earn for charity, the work players put in, young players and old players, but they never get any credit for it at all, and they should get credit for it.
Well, last year's match was in aid of the Real Madrid Foundation, and that money went to fund Real Madrid's projects in Africa. And this is the Manchester United Foundation, which already over the past 3 years has raised more than £1.5 million for good causes in the Greater Manchester area.
What a player he was. Oh, dear me, dear me.
And he's one of those, Paddy, that looks like he could still play the game at the top level.
I think, to be fair to the foreign players, they're apt to live a little bit more sensible than the older players in this country live. I hope none of them were out last night, actually. Our lot, not the other team.
Well, one or two stories. Edwin van der Sar was interviewed on the radio this morning and admitted to a large meal and a glass of wine last night.
Did he? Oh.
That wouldn't have happened a few years ago.
Certainly not.
And you could go and ask Clayton Blackmore what he was doing at 4 o'clock this morning, but maybe that's not a question to ask.
No idea.
He'd been at a wedding yesterday.
Oh,
and the celebrations went on a bit. Andrew Cole at the back end of the line, shaking hands with an old adversary there in Hierro. Of course, they met not only in Champions League football, but in the Barclays Premier League, because Hierro had a very successful season playing for Sam Allardyce at Bolton Wanderers. Salgado there going through shot, who was at Blackburn. And at the end of the line, the final handshake, and now a look at the team lineups. Brian Robson's starting 11 for Manchester United, containing 5 of the players who started the 1999 Champions League final. It would have been 6, but for Teddy Sheringham's withdrawal because of a hamstring problem. Paul Scholes plays for the first time since becoming an ex-professional just a fortnight ago. Clayton Blackmore, at the age of 48, is the oldest starter.
Well, I'm just looking at Paul Scholes, one of the best passes of a ball you've ever seen in your life. Will be playing any balls in front of him to run onto? I'm not too sure about that today. Everything will have to be to feet. But when you look at that team, household names, all of them. Absolutely tremendous players they were for Manchester United. And the medals they've had, European Cup medals, terrific. Terrific. You just wish Paul Scholes was young enough to be playing today. I'm not mean playing today, I mean playing in the first team for United.
Well, there's Real Madrid, and their stellar squad list lost a star from its constellation at lunchtime when Italian World Cup winning skipper Fabio Cannavaro withdrew because of an unexpected commitment with his club in Qatar. They won the league yesterday and decided only this morning that they'd have a victory parade, so he's had to go back there.
Oh, that's a shame.
However, Zidane, Hierro and Figo ensure plenty of glamour. Ruud van Nistelrooy there will play a half for each team.
Terrific players there when you look at them, all household names. We keep mentioning Zidane is one of the best players I've ever seen play in my life, and Figo, Morientes, Van Nistelrooy. I mean, God almighty. So Makelele was a terrific player as well. Nasty little so-and-so. Will he be like that today? It's a friendly, someone should tell him. Aguero was one of the great players as well, and so all great names in actual fact.
Well, Sir Bobby Charlton being presented first to Manchester United, now to the match officials, who are led by Kevin Friend from Leicestershire, who was in charge of the League Cup final between Bradford and Swansea earlier this season. And now, via Fernando Hierro, they are face-to-face, two of the greats of European football. And Michel Salgado, who had those 2 seasons with Blackburn, officially retired at the end of last season when Blackburn decided amidst their financial difficulties they could no longer afford to keep him.
I just wonder if the Madrid players believe that they're in Manchester, because there's a glorious sunny day. Doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, but we don't want to reinforce that stereotype. Well, there's Elguera. There are 1 or 2 Real players with unhappy memories of Old Trafford. He scored an own goal here in that Champions League quarter-final of 2003 that Paddy was referring to, when Ronaldo bagged a hat-trick. Warm applause for Sir Bobby Charlton. And we also saw Michel Salgado a little earlier, and he won't want to be reminded that the last time he played here he lost 7-1 with Blackburn. And as David Moyes begins to assemble his coaching staff here at Old Trafford, Manchester United's legends, including 2 members of the new Ajax management team. Goalkeeper Edwin van der Sar has been taken on in a commercial role as well as a coaching one, and defender Jaap Stam has also left his first club in management terms, FC Zwolle, to join the coaching staff at Ajax Amsterdam. Well, it is worth reiterating that this game will be decided by the aggregate score. Over 2 legs, Real Madrid beat United 3-2 in the Bernabeu last year. Away goals do not count double. So at 90 minutes, if the aggregate score is level, it will be straight to penalties. And just to put into context the 2 sides that we see before us, Manchester United, Paddy, 8 Champions League winners' medals in their starting 11 and 42 Premier League titles between them. Real Madrid, 17 Champions League winners' medals and 27 La Liga domestic league titles.
Real Madrid down through the years, Johnny, when I was growing up, was the club. I mean, you think they won the European Cup 5 years in a row when I was at Celtic, actually. And they must be heartbroken at the moment. They haven't won it for quite some time.
And in terms of average age, that's another factor when you've got squads like this. I mean, the oldest player involved on either side is Brian Robson, if he comes on, the United player manager, at 56. Paul Scholes, a comparative youngster, at 38. Ruben de la Red is on the bench for Real Madrid. Here's a poignant story. He's only 27, but he was forced to retire at the age of 25 because of a heart condition.
Oh, that's a shame.
But Brian Robson there has given his final instructions to his men. The average age, Manchester United 41 and a half, Real Madrid 39, and there's the oldest starter for Manchester United, 48-year-old Clayton Blackmore.
He looks after himself, Clayton, to be fair.
He wasn't looking after himself so well at 4 o'clock this morning.
Who got married?
Mark Hughes' son, apparently.
Mark Hughes' son, no. Well, he usually looks good. He spends most of his time on the golf course. So you're right, if he was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, God help him.
Well, it's not for us to throw baseless allegations, but it came from a very good source.
Well, if you stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, you're wasting your time if you're not in a few too many. You're wasting your money.
Well, there are all sorts of flashbulbs going off around the stadium and mobile phones being used as cameras to collect memories of this, I was going to say unique occasion. It is the inaugural Manchester United Legends Cup that is being contested today. Next year it will be Soccer Aid, but there is a contingency that the Legends Cup will return 2 years from now, so this probably won't be the last taste of high-class Legends football. Kevin Friend, the match referee, has promised to keep a light hand on the tiller.
Does that include Paul Scholes?
Well,
every time Paul goes in for a tackle, John, as you know, you shut your eyes.
Yes.
And think, my God, what are you doing, Paul?
Well, there are one or two out there that don't know how to take a backward step, and that should add to the competitive nature of the occasion, because the juices that led these players to be such footballing warriors in their heyday are still very much in evidence. It is only 3 months since Manchester United last met Real Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League, a night of controversy and huge disappointment from a Manchester United perspective. Here is Luis Figo, Real Madrid in the darker kit, and playing towards the Stretford end of Old Trafford in this first half, with Fernando Morientes and now Zinedine Zidane. Running into Quinton Fortune. And Zidane's back for more. Pavon, another of the younger brigade. Hierro will just sit in the centre of the pitch and dictate affairs.
Oh dear me, he's made a mistake today. I didn't think there was ever a human possibility that he'd make a mistake.
Makalele, Amavisca, and now Pavon again. Manchester United played a Legends fixture only a month ago at Ibrox. They won't want to be reminded that they lost 4-1 despite taking the lead through Ronnie Johnson.
The excuse they made, John, was Rangers had a far younger side than they had.
Valid excuse, Paddy, or not?
Yes, I think it is, yeah.
Michel Salgado. And the first real involvement for Edwin van der Sar. Man who has stepped the standards for a generation of goalkeepers. Clayton Blackmore, Henning Berg, Jaap Stam to Ronnie Johnson. In fact, 3 of the back 4, Johnson, Stam and Irwin, started that 1999 Champions League final. Morientes, Hierro. Real Madrid names trip off the tongue like a who's who of the finest of European football of the past 2 decades. Figo, and it breaks this time for Stam.
I don't think you'll see too many long balls being played and people chasing them today.
Quinton Fortune, who's still involved in capacity with the reserves at Manchester United. Here's Lee Sharp.
Oh dear me.
Amavisca getting there in front of Clayton Blackmore. It's a corner.
You don't want a ball like that, John, if you're out till 4 o'clock in the morning.
He's even wearing number 4. Blackmore it is with the corner. By Hierro. Scholes, 2 weeks on from the last of his competitive appearances. Henning Berg, 57 days earlier this season as manager of Blackburn. Ivan Elguera. Real Madrid flew into Liverpool airport last night, or the majority of them did. Some travelled independently, like Zidane, who only joined up with the team half an hour before they left their hotel in downtown Manchester. Manchester United squad stabled at a hotel in Worsley last night. Zidane, and there's Johnson.
Oh, well played, Paul Scholes, well played. The crowd enjoyed that.
Henningberg.
You're asking a lot.
Too much. Hierro for Real Madrid.
Oh, he's offside, linesman.
Well, there's no flag as Zidane played it in. Couldn't hook up with Morientes that time. Not only do we have a Premier League referee, we have a pair of Premier League assistant referees as well in Scott Ledger and Matthew Wilkes. And the sides played in Madrid last year. It was Kalina who refereed for the first half. There was nowhere near as big a crowd in the Bernabeu that day as there is inside Old Trafford today. Queues around the ground even at 10:30 this morning. Let's try to get into the car parks.
I didn't think you were one of the groups that were singing, John, did they?
Don't think they would have made that mistake, Paddy, to be honest. So tell me, the mindset, say, of the Manchester United players today.
Yeah.
Most of them have played 99.5% of their career playing competitively with that edge. How do they approach this?
They want to win. That's the crazy thing about it. You play a daft little game, you'll still want to win it. And the Real Madrid players will be the same. Regardless of what age, you still want to win.
Well, this is Scholes.
Oh, he's asked. He's in as well.
He's found Dwight York.
That was a vintage pass from Paul Scholes.
Fortune. Pavon.
Every time Paul Scholes gets the ball, the crowd from shout, shoot, even if he's on the halfway line.
Luis Figo. Michel Salgado, and there's Zidane!
Oh, terrific save.
Denied by Van der Sar.
He was stretched a little bit there, Zidane, but still a terrific save. Great ball in from Figo. Or Salgado it was, rather. But, oh, that's a chance. Well done, goalie.
Well, Zidane is 40, Van der Sar 42. Figo with the corner, headed out by Fortune. First clear-cut opportunity of this Legends fixture here at Old Trafford. A rare mistake by Claude Makelele. Worth another look at that save by Van der Sar.
Yeah, it was a terrific save, wasn't it? You'll be disappointed Zidane has not scored. And a good ball in as well from Salgado.
Conditions here are pleasant. Certainly not hot, but there is a degree of warmth, certainly more than we've experienced of late. This is Figo. And behind off Henningberg. Henningberg has got a problem.
That can happen very easily. A little strain of some sort, which... Yeah, there's a sub coming on straight away, Lee Martin.
It is a straight swap in that regard then, Paddy.
Yeah. Just overstretched at that age and your muscle goes. It's a shame, really. The thing about it as well, John, you take ages to recover from it when you're that age. It's not like I'm out for a fortnight or something.
Yeah. Well, he's got till next year, Paddy. Figo. And a clear header. It was Elguera that was forward.
Yeah, it's a terrific header. If it hits the target, it goes in. Yeah, Elguera the one. He gets up above everybody. Does he want to come on, Brian?
When I asked him before the game, he didn't sound wildly keen.
I'm not surprised. Oh, Dennis.
Yes, it's Irwin. And now Blackmore. Manchester United using the first of their 6 substitutes. They are rather better served in terms of numbers. Andy Cole on the ball here. Pointed out the difference between the 2 squads in last year's fixture in the Bernabeu. And he said that Manchester United had 14 players that day and Real Madrid had 14 subs. In fact, he miscounted. There were 15 and they used all of them. York trying to play in Cole. Zidane still glides across the turf.
It does, doesn't it?
Ruud van Nistelrooy and Figo. Comfortable save this time for Van der Sar.
Yeah, good effort all the same.
Already some attractive football being produced.
Yeah, good effort that.
Paul Scholes. Lee Sharp got there, but that was all he could do.
Yeah, he just miscontrolled it.
Here's Cole. Sharp. Put out by Michel Salgado. He's a no-nonsense fullback if ever there was one.
Yeah.
Described by his teammate Steve McManaman as a psychopath.
I think a lot of defenders are like that to a degree, particularly central defenders.
There's Irwin, and it's a Manchester United corner.
Where are you going, Clout? By the time you go over there, you'll be banjaxed. He's running all the way over to take the corner. It's a short corner. Oh no, he's not. He's taking the corner. He's running 50 yards.
Blackmore.
Oh, he's really
setting up Scholes.
Oh, they've been watching Scholes Real Madrid. Morientes out like a shot, so he couldn't hit it.
Irwin.
Good ball.
Dwight York. That's Cole. Steered clear by Ivan Elguera.
Might have given a foul there, the referee.
He'd have been unpopular if he had.
Yeah.
Quite a day in this city today with the Manchester Day Parade as well.
That back pass, does that not count today? No.
loose interpretation of the rules, I think.
Suppose, yeah.
Jose Emilio Amavisca. This is Hierro. Effortless ball, Salgado. Stam, and his fellow Dutchman Van Nistelrooy lurking behind him. York. The start to this game in contrast to last year's meeting of these two legend sides. By this stage, it was 2-1 to Real Madrid. Makelele. Van Nistelrooy for Zidane. Luis Figo. And Zidane!
Ooh. Just stretching a little bit for that. Stretched a little bit too much. He usually rockets them into the back of the net, doesn't he? Yeah, he's just stretching a little bit and doesn't make connection properly, but maybe even a few years younger that would have been a goal, I would imagine.
Blackmore.
Oh, you're asking a lot. Well done, Andy.
York.
Oh, Paul, what are you doing?
Morientes. He was clipped by Quinton Fortune. Free kick taken, not necessarily from the right spot, but that's an academic today.
Again, no.
It's what you call a reputation going before you.
I think, to be fair, Makelele drew out of that one. Because he likes a tackle as well, Makelele.
Ronnie Johnson, who celebrates his 44th birthday later this week. Cole, who looks in remarkably good shape for 41. Fortune only 36. Stam. Madrid's first team season came to a conclusion last night with a 4-2 home win over Osasuna, but they finished a distant second to Barcelona, 15 points behind their great rivals. And of course, having eliminated Manchester United from the Champions League, they themselves fell foul of Borussia Dortmund in the semi-final. In particular, Lewandowski, who scored 4 times. Here's Zidane. To his right, Morientes. To his left is Van Nistelrooy.
Oh!
Past Stam, but not beyond Van der Sar.
Oh dear me, it would have been funny what would have happened to the referee if he had touched Van Nistelrooy there. He had to jump high to get out of Stam's road. I wonder what would have happened if Stam had brought him down. What's the Charlie? He just jumps off and out of your road.
All Dutch affair. Stam beaten by Van Nistelrooy. Van der Sar denying Van Nistelrooy. Figo. Van Nistelrooy. Fernando Hierro. This is Claude Makelele. Zinedine Zidane. Amaviska. Salgado. And cries of time for Lee Martin.
Oh, well played, Quinton.
York. Scholes. Clayton Blackmore is hugging this near touchline. Dwight York. Ronnie Johnson. Scholes. Lee Sharp. Contreras yet to have a save to make in the Real Madrid goal. This is Irwin.
Oh, it's long enough, that.
And Cole. Nearly worked for him.
Yes, it did. Just couldn't control it.
Luis Figo. Van Nistelrooy. Makelele in an advanced position in this attack. Morientes by the penalty spot. And it is towards Morientes. And it's mopped up by Fortune and then Irwin. Best chance of the game so far falling to Zinedine Zidane. With a shot that was athletically tipped over the bar by Edwin van der Sar. Blackmore. Elguera. Zidane. Amaviska. Looked like a foul, but it's advantage played. And Van Nistelrooy tried to square it for Figo, and there was Dennis Irwin.
Yeah, but a good full-back should be. Clearing it off the line. Yeah, he just gets too close to him, Clayton. Misjudges the challenge. Well done, Dennis Irwin.
Figo has a shot.
Not far away either.
Had time to set himself.
Yeah, it's a good effort as well.
Well, Manchester United lost Henning Berg to injury early in this game. We can hear from him now down on the touchline with our reporter Ian Irving. Henning Berg forced off after just 8 minutes, sadly. Here's York. Now Cole.
Oh, you're asking too much from Clayton.
He might have been asking too much from Clayton Blackmore 20 years ago, though, Paddy, there.
Yeah, of course. Good little build-up all the same. Just doesn't control it, Andy, which is unusual for him. I thought he was more interested in having a shot, Andy, but no.
Makelele. Zidane. Salgado beginning to motor. Brightest sunshine of the day so far as well. Makalele, Luis Figo. Just one poor touch and that led to another.
Yeah, another opportunity of a shot, but no. You're right about the extra touch. Just runs away from him.
Well, there's a remnant of the first team coaching staff on duty again today. Albert Morgan, the faithful kit man.
Terrific character.
Sharp. Scholes.
Oh, you're asking too much, Paul.
But there was a foul and it's been brought back for the infringement by Hierro.
Yeah, he just blocked him off from making a run. I'm not so sure he wants to make the run.
We've got a wave going around the ground. I suppose we have to call it a Mancunian wave.
That's all part of the fun of the day.
And it is very much a family day. That was in evidence hours before kick-off. The family groups making their way on the roads and streets around Old Trafford towards the ground. Pedro Contreras organising a four-man wall. It's Quinton Fortune.
Couldn't get it down. Keeps rising.
So goalless as we approach 26 minutes in this second leg of the Manchester United Legends Cup. Real Madrid leading 3-2 from the first leg. There's Figo. Clayton Blackmore. Oh goodness.
Oh dear me. That would have been embarrassing. Nothing at stake.
Ah, now we have the former manager doing the Mancunian
What are
way.
you doing at your age?
It's a nice touch. Hierro. Amavisca. Here's Figo. Rather more secure this time by Van der Sar. And then he tries to free Cole. Well defended by Pavon.
Oh, a good ball.
Morientes.
Good save, goalkeeper.
Makalele. Zidane. Salgado. Hierro. And now Scholes for Manchester United. Manchester United deprived of two senior players. We claim all of them are senior players, but two leading lights in their initial squad, and Teddy Sheringham out with a hamstring problem, and Dion Dublin, who's broken a collarbone. Despite the necessary changes and Ben Thornley being brought in, the most disappointed man inside Old Trafford when the team sheets went in was Mickey Thomas.
Oh, Mickey.
Didn't make the final cut. Particularly upset that he reckons his place has gone to Paul Scholes. Luis Figo. Fernando Morientes. Now Zidane. Figo.
Is that a corner? No.
Still a princely player at the age of 40, Luis Figo. 4 years into his retirement.
Yeah, one of the greats as well. I mean, that's a chance. Terrific save by the goalkeeper. Using the full length of his body.
It's Morientes, who of course had a spell at Liverpool. Zidane. Makelele. He's hardly renowned for his goal scoring. Amavisca. Hierro. Salgado. Makelele. Scholes forcing himself in front of his former teammate Van Nistelrooy. And now trying to release Dwight York.
He's on his own. It's very difficult when you're on your own. When you're young, never mind when you get older.
Zidane. Morientes.
Oh, dear me.
The immovable rock that is Jaap Stam. I think we can take it that Dennis Owen's not too pleased.
And we're not going to repeat what you said. Something hell. Yeah, that bit with a free foul there as well. Oh, Dennis, it's not a friendly, son. That's a present day challenge, that, isn't it?
He's pretty ageless, Owen, isn't he? 47 now.
Yeah, looks after himself, but John. He does. There's few of them out there. Andy Cole and Dwight York both look after themselves. They train every day.
Why have we not seen more clear-cut scoring chances in this game, particularly for Manchester United?
Both of them want to win. Both of them want to win. They're taking it serious. I mean, regardless of the age here, there's not been a lot of chances created. That's because there's a lot of contact out there. Usually sometimes when you play a match like this, you let people have the ball. You're not letting somebody have the ball here. Somebody on you straight away.
Zidane. Bounce through to Van der Sar. The commercial director at Ajax these days.
I thought he'd been the goalkeeping coach or something like that. The ability he had.
Well, he went off having retired, 2 years ago from here, and did a master's business degree at university in Amsterdam, which is now put into good use. Amavisca. Morientes. Zidane. Figo. Salgado. Cleared by Stam.
Yeah, the ball in. No gentle challenge for it. Easy clearance for Stam.
Salgado. Both sides treating the occasion and their opponents with plenty of respect. Still, Real Madrid in aggregate terms ahead by the odd goal in 5. Having won last year's first leg 3-2. Dennis
bounce that took, didn't
bad
it?
bounce, didn't he?
Yeah, bad bounce.
That won't happen very often here in the future because this pitch gets dug up tomorrow morning.
I believe so.
Van Nistelrooy turning away from Jonsson. It's a good save by Van der Sar. Smartly down to his right.
Well, that's a terrific save by the goalkeeper.
Amaviska. And this is Irwin. And again, Edwin van der Sar distinguishing himself. York. Scholes.
Well, the crowd again shouting for Paul to shoot.
He's sharp, Paul Scholes. Slice clearance by Elguera. Finding Figo. There are both English and Spanish catering options inside the ground today to mark this occasion. So it's pie or paella. Oh! Now is that a penalty? That was Ronnie Jonsson on Michel Salgado.
That was a penalty. He knows it as well, Ronnie. They've been very lenient, the linesman and the referee. The linesman very close to it as well. This is a penalty, all right. Oh dear me, you couldn't have more clearer penalty than that, can you? A few of the Real Madrid players not happy with the referee, and quite rightly so.
Well, Ronnie Jonsson would appear to have got away with one there.
Oh, that was a penalty. Been very kind there, the referee. I think the referee himself knows it's a penalty. Maybe because of the circumstances of the game, that's why he's not given it. It's a charity match after all. But you like to see goals, don't you?
Well, just before the penalty shout, it was a very good piece of goalkeeping by the Dutchman.
Terrific save that, isn't it? Terrific save. From his friend Ruud.
Sharp. Beating Elguera. Pavon came across.
20 years ago he'd have got that.
Zidane. Ronnie Jonsson's challenge on Salgado seemed beyond any question to be a penalty. I think both you and I gave it from 100 yards away up on the gantry, Paddy.
But the referee was being kind because it was a charity match.
Could it also be that there's a plot afoot to make this game go to penalties? Because if Real Madrid had had a penalty and scored it, they'd be ahead by 2, and Manchester United have yet to force a save from Contreras down this end.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Morientes, Makalele. Van Nistelrooy.
That's another terrific save. Ruud trying to bend it in at the top corner. I've seen you do that many times before, Ruud. I knew exactly what you were going to do. He just tries to bend this in at the far corner. Terrific save again from the goalkeeper.
Corner taken short to Salgado, and there's Morientes, who should have scored.
What a chance. What a chance. And we keep saying that at the wrong end, don't we? It's another great chance. The short corner again. Oh, dear me. Did he change his mind? Was he going to header it or whatever? But anyway, he's put it past the post.
Well, that was the sort of finishing that Liverpool fans will remember.
Yep. Yes.
Goal every 5 games for Liverpool, which is not what they expected when they acquired him for quite a lot of money. Finished his career after his spell at Anfield with periods at Valencia and Marseille. Zidane to Makelele.
Chance.
Morientes!
Great goal. Terrific strike. I mean, it's straight in the corner as well. The goalkeeper, no chance of getting this one. Great power behind it as well. Yeah, just gets enough room there, and bang. No chance for the goalkeeper.
Well, that's the sort of finishing skill that Liverpool thought they'd bought and didn't see enough of.
Yeah, the funny thing, he was a terrific player except when he went to Liverpool.
Yeah. And Van der Sar beaten at last. And Real Madrid ahead by 4 goals to 2 on aggregate now.
Old Trafford, Madrid's goal scored by Fernando Morientes.
His Liverpool links are recalled.
Yeah, they know all about him.
Interesting to see what sort of reception Steve McManaman gets in the second half.
Interesting, won't it? As long as it's in fun.
In terms of those available in reserve for Real Madrid, Emilio Butragueño, Steve McManaman, Alfonso, Ruben de la Red, Fernando Sanz, Ivan Perez and the goalkeeper Carlos Sanchez. Manchester United having used one substitute, Lee Martin.
Oh, that's a corner.
It is. But they can still call upon Brian Robson, Ben Thornley, Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's available to Manchester United in the second half, Raymond van der Hauw, Jesper Blomqvist. Is anyone going to point out that the ball's not in the quadrant for this
No,
corner?
and the linesman right beside it as well, isn't it?
Fortune, Makelele.
Oh, there's a break on it. Oh! Morientes got to help, but he fell over, nobody near him.
Here's Amavisca. Morientes.
Oh, that's a good job, he miscontrolled it.
So we were talking about the food options, Paddy.
I didn't know there was Spanish. I didn't know that.
Well, so for you, is it pie or paella?
Paella, definitely. I'll be straight down at the end of the match, John. They don't have any Spanish red wine by any chance.
Well, we
they?
might manage some sangria for you.
All right then. That's my evening. That's me for the night then.
Here's Zidane. 3 minutes to half-time. Morientes. Important that Sharp cut that out.
A better pass. And Figo was away.
So it's Amavisca. Makelele. And Nistelrooy. It's hard, Paddy, I would suggest, to argue with the scoreline that we have.
Well, you look at the saves our goalkeeper's made. He's made 3 terrific saves. He should have had a penalty.
So when Brian Robson addresses his players at half-time, what can he possibly say or suggest to them to turn the tide?
Have a shot at goal would be a bit helpful. You've got a chance of scoring if you have a shot at goal, but we've not had any shots at goal. Not to trouble the goalkeeper anywhere.
Figo. Zidane. Michel Salgado. Amavisca. That's beyond everyone.
I thought he was going to have a shot there with the way he was lining up.
Scholes. Lee Martin. It's Cole. Sharp. Scholes.
Oh dear me, they were shouting for Porty's shoot, but the opportunity wasn't there.
Clayton Blackmore instead. There's a corner. Just about time for it to be taken. And Quinton Fortune, who took the last one, is showing no interest in taking this one. It's Blackmore instead. Iero. Half-time arrives. Manchester United trailing to a Fernando Morientes goal, scored 5 minutes shy of the break. Real Madrid, much the more threatening side. Van der Sar with 3 excellent saves. There should also be a penalty when Johnson clearly tripped Michel Salgado, and Kevin Friend, the referee, maybe deliberately developed a blind spot for a moment and didn't give it. Brian Robson with words of advice to deliver to try and turn the tide in this, because the aggregate score sees Real Madrid leading 4-2 on the day here at Old Trafford in front of a wildly enthusiastic crowd. The half-time score is Manchester United 0. He's been doing his best to get forward from left back, but it's been a struggle for him up against Luis Figo. As far as Real Madrid are concerned, Steve McManaman, Ruben de la Red, reserve goalkeeper Carlos Sanchez have all spent most of half-time doing a bit of warming up. Ruud van Nistelrooy now wearing the red of Manchester United. He was Real Madrid's number 17 in the first half. He'll be Manchester United's number 20 in the second. But apart from Ruud van Nistelrooy, that is the same side that finished the first period. So Clayton Blackmore is the player who has made way to allow Ruud van Nistelrooy 150 goals in 5 seasons with Manchester United to come on. Let's hear from Brian Robson down in the tunnel. Well, Steve McManaman is another new arrival, the former Liverpool player. So just confirmation over the PA system that Clayton Blackmore has been replaced by Ruud van Nistelrooy. And Francisco Pavón is the player to go off. The other slight twist here is that number 8 for Real Madrid out there is Claude Makelele. He wore 24 in the first half, so they've done that, Paddy, just to try and confuse us.
Yeah, it certainly confused me anyway.
Worked. It's not worked. It's still Makelele, the battery in my watch, as Claudio Ranieri described him during his time at Chelsea.
Yeah, he was a terrific player for Chelsea, wasn't he, and for Real Madrid.
And what all that means with McManaman coming on is that Iero has moved back to centre-half alongside Elguera for Real Madrid. Van Nistelrooy. And Ruben de la Red is the player that's replaced Ruud van Nistelrooy in the Real Madrid side. Wearing number 21 and wearing a headband. There's Lee Martin. Van Nistelrooy. Just too long for York, but it comes for Lee Sharp, and Scholes, and York goes over.
Penalty?
Apparently not.
Yeah, he might have given one, but I think we're not giving the penalty in the first half. He's certainly not going to give United one.
Have another look at it, Paddy.
Yeah, he would just get a little flick on him here. Oh, he did. He just caught him, but nothing in it. That's just evened it up then.
Figo. Here's McManaman leaving it for Ruben de la Red. And it was Ronnie Johnson that threw himself in the path of it and has been winded in the process.
What a terrific dummy that was, wasn't it? Sold everybody.
And only now is poor old Ronnie Johnson picking himself up.
Certainly winded, that is it. Has he been hit where it hurts most?
Winded and wounded.
Yeah, here we go. Great dummy that, isn't it? Oh, dear me. Dear me, I've felt that. Oh, dear me.
Replays can be a bit graphic sometimes.
Well, I'm feeling it, and I'm not even down anywhere close to it.
Well, this is Ruben de la Red on the ball. He's only 27. He had to retire at the age of 25 because of a heart condition.
That's a shame, that, isn't it? 25.
He collapsed during a game, which first alerted doctors to a potential problem.
Oh, great ball. Great
Here's
ball.
Salgado. Figo. McManaman. De la Red.
He's trying to pass that into the net, but not enough power in it.
Difference between these sides today, at least. Fernando Morientes' goal late in the first half. Here's Cole.
Oh, he's overhit it. I think he's trying to play that back to Ruud, but he's not caught it properly.
Did ever so well to slip past the arrow, but this is York.
Attention business to a message of Debbie McCormack from Austin. Debbie McCormack from Austin, please go to your news studio. Thank you.
Scholes.
Oh.
And York.
Well done, goalkeeper. Yeah, he does well, the goalkeeper here. It's a cute little ball as well from Scholes, isn't it? Yeah, well done, goalkeeper. Problems United, Problems United.
And time for Morientes. He's back to his Liverpool form.
I don't know how he missed that. How did he miss that? I think that's surely got to go in the net. Oh dear me. That should have been number 2. I love the little dummy as well, but makes a mess of it. Did Ronnie Johnson put him off? We'll make the substitute. We've got a substitute ready to come on. Is somebody injured?
Ben Thornley is going to come on. There's no word yet as to who's coming on. Cole is offside. Lee Sharp is coming off, Paddy, we're here.
Old Trafford substitution for Manchester United. Let's hear it for number 11, Lee Sharp.
Marginal, but up went the flag.
Yeah, not a lot in it. Sometimes in games like this, they let it go, don't they?
So the end of the afternoon's entertainment for Lee Sharp. As usual, with a smile on his face. And there's Ben Thornley, who was 5 years a Manchester United fringe player.
He got a bad injury actually, John. He looked as if he was going to be a star at one time.
His brother Rod will be busy today, Paddy, won't he, with the England team in Rio?
I'm looking forward to that actually. Looking forward to that. Go back home and watch it later.
It's assuming they've managed to finish the stadium in time.
I don't think we'll be here at 8 o'clock surely.
Zidane. It was 29 years ago this week that John Barnes scored that famous goal in the old rotting version of the Maracanã.
I watched that game. What a goal it was as well. Fantastic. What a goal.
And Brian Robson was part of that England team. We may well get a cameo from the Manchester United Legends player manager a little later. De La Red.
The ball's only going one way at the moment, isn't it?
Zidane. Michel Salgado. 5 waiting.
Oh, it's an important touch from Yapstam.
Here's Scholes.
Go on, Rudy, put you in.
Collar slipped over. This is Thornley. Now York. Van Nistelrooy.
Oh, he never got enough on it. He never got enough on it. He's hit it into the ground. And the ground takes all the strength out of it.
As a result of Real Madrid's changes of personnel, Claude Makelele playing a little deeper in the second half. Slightly confusing in the first because...
No, maybe that's because he's getting a bit older.
It could be. I'll tell you what confused me, that was the fact that a player that defined a role, the Makelele role...
Fantastic player he was in that role, wasn't he?
But he wasn't really playing that role in the first half. Now he's just dropped that little bit deeper again. And he's changed his shirt number confusingly as well, now wearing number 8.
Yeah, because I was asking you who was the number 8.
Here's Amavisca.
Come on, United, you have to score a goal, you bring the crowd to life.
Van Nistelrooy, he's a man who knows the route to goal. 150 of them for Manchester United.
He's going to get it again, you're going to get it again.
York. Hierro. And then Makelele doing the mopping up. Ruud van Nistelrooy, 347 club goals in 589 games.
Incredible record that, isn't it?
Zidane.
Oh, a terrific ball, he's not
Figo.
off
Denied by Van der Sar.
To be fair to Figo there, I don't think he intended going for the ball. If he would have, he might have clattered Van der Sar. He's just on. Yeah, he sees the goalie comes and decides, I'm not going to go for it. But he took a bang for his pains.
Here's Cole onside.
He needs support. You need to get somebody up quickly, and you'll have to do it all on your own. He's not going to score from that angle.
McManaman picking out Salgado. Steve McManaman, one of the most successful English footballing exports of the last 20 years.
Terrific player he was, Steve McManaman.
He's got a great goal in a Champions League final. Back in 2000 in Paris against Valencia. It's Ben Thornley. Paul Scholes. Thornley and Scholes coming through the ranks together at Manchester United.
Cheeky little back heel.
Yapstam now. Scholes again. Thornley. Scholes. Now De La Red. And here comes Stam. Zidane. Figo. There's a nice fluidity to Real Madrid's play. And Figo within reach of a giant like Van der Sar.
Yeah. Try to pass that ball into the net as well, just to bend it round Van der Sar, but he's such a big fella. It's a little bender. A bit smaller, he might not have got that.
Lee Martin.
Oh.
Feels for hands.
If it had been anybody else but Steve McManaman, I don't think the crowd would have bothered.
Van Nistelrooy.
Can you bend one in, Ruud? No.
Zidane.
Oh, he's onside.
And Van der Sar coming out, and I think Figo decided that discretion was the better part of valour.
Sensible, sensible.
Wants to go home in one piece.
Yeah.
Part of a Real Madrid squad who arrived via budget airlines at Liverpool Airport last night. Not travelling in the style to which they became accustomed during their regular playing careers.
Oh, well, it's for charity anyway. I'd imagine that would be part of the reason.
Did stay in the nicest hotel in central Manchester last night.
Are they?
They did.
They got out the town with it?
Not for me to say, Paddy. I'm sure you had your spies
No,
out.
I was just querying whether you were out the town or not.
No, not the night before a big match.
Yeah, of
Paddy,
course,
no.
of course.
Here's York. Paul Scholes. That's neat and it's nice. And it's Andy Cole. Getting little change out of Michel Salgado, bar a corner.
Corner kick. Good build up by United, but didn't get the shot. Andy looking to have a shot here, but the space wasn't there.
Dennis Irwin's going to take this. The head of Amavisca. Ruud van Nistelrooy.
They're looking for a foul on the goalkeeper. I think there might be a foul on the goalkeeper here by Andy. A little push. He usually puts those away, Ruud. The wrong end.
Well, let's get a word from an as yet unused Manchester United substitute, Jesper Blomqvist, with Ian Irving. MUTV's former resident cookery expert, Jesper Blomqvist, the Delia Smith of MUTV.
Was he? Didn't know that.
Figo. Amavisca. And that was Irwin that touched it away. And the pattern hasn't particularly changed since the first half, where Real Madrid had the majority of the threatening play anyway.
Well, it would need a goal from United to bring everything back to life.
Ruben de la Red. Ronnie Johnson. Makalele.
I think they're just having a breather, the two of them are lying down there.
There's changes afoot for Real Madrid primarily. Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's going to be a change of goalkeeper and possibly an outfield player as well in just a moment.
Well, that's cute play there by Hierro.
McManaman. Makalele, who's one of the players that's about to make way. Amavisca now.
Oh, he's going to go all the way, is he? No. I thought he was going to go and have a shot there.
Well, here's an opportunity for the changes to be made. David Coote, the fourth official, overseeing them. One of them a change in goal, where Pedro Contreras comes off to be replaced by Carlos Sanchez, who only ever made one first-team appearance for Real Madrid. And Fernando Sanz, whose career at Real Madrid although brief, may have been helped by the fact his father was the club president at the time. He comes on for Claude Makelele. So that's 4 changes by Real Madrid and 3 by Manchester United. One of those changes featured this man, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Oh! And that's as close as Manchester United have come.
Yeah, it's a great effort by Ruud. He knows he's got to take the defender on. I'll tell you, this squeezes past, well, it goes by the goalkeeper. He's just come on as well, the goalie. Oh, dear me. That's not far away. Wrong side of the post.
Only retired last summer, having finished his career at Malaga, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Irwin. Beautiful afternoon in Manchester now.
Oh, tried the nutmeg twice. It came off the first time, but not the second time.
Here's Hierro. Morientes, scorer of the only goal of the game so far. Reminder that this trophy, the Manchester United Legends Cup, is to be decided on aggregate score, taking into account last year's first leg at the Bernabeu, which Real Madrid won 3-2. Zidane. Salgado. Amavisca. Luis Figo. De La Red. A bit of time for Michel Salgado. Flicked away by the head of Lee Martin.
He's got a bang in the face, the Madrid player.
Yes, Real Madrid have a casualty.
I think he got knocked in the face, and that's the reason the game stopped. Just looking to see if there's any blood there. I don't think there is.
There is a sore head, at the very least. Rafael Martin Vázquez is the manager. He's also a playing member of the squad. He did play in this fixture last year as a substitute and reserves the right to come on. Luis Figo really felt that. Plenty of managerial experience in the form of Brian Robson, 7 years in charge of Middlesbrough. 17 years in management altogether, latterly with Thailand. But there's the granddaddy of them all. Martin, York. Fortune. Here's Johnson. Irwin. Thornley. Late call up to the Manchester United squad, Ben Thornley. Irwin.
Oh, he was kicked it, Dennis. On his own a bit, Figo.
There's another Real Madrid substitution in the offing. Looks like Francisco Pavón is likely to reappear, having started the game. The two sides agreed before kick-off to use rolling substitutions if required. McManaman. Figo. And nodded back nonchalantly by Dwight York. So three-quarter distance in the game, Paddy. Do you see signs of Manchester United being capable of getting back into this?
Well, they're finding it difficult at the moment, but...
Maybe now. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Beyond the arrow. And scoring in typical style at the Stretford end.
I should keep my mouth shut, John, shouldn't I? That is a fantastic strike by Ruud. I mean, you're thinking the angle might be a little bit too much for him, but it isn't. The tremendous power behind it. Yeah, just gets his run right as well. But the power from there, that's what beats the goalkeeper. Well, that'll bring the crowd back to life. Great strike by Ruud. Crowd enjoyed that.
Just like he'd never been away.
Yeah, terrific goal. Salcado, the one that's gone off for them, John, the number 2.
Yes, and Pavón has come on. And Van der Sar called into
That's
action
another
now.
terrific save. And unfortunate for United, I think they're going to change their goalkeeper in a second. He's been terrific, Van der Sar.
Scholes.
Oh, you're going to get clobbered, Paul.
Looking for Cole. And the goalkeeper just got to it within bounds.
Paul looked for a free kick. Maybe, if this had been a real game, he'd have gone for that, Andy. I think he'd been kind to the goalkeeper at the end there, because he might have hurt him if he'd have made the challenge.
McManaman. Zidane. There's confirmation of that last change, the 5th by Real Madrid, seeing the reappearance of Francisco Pavón. And how about this for an ovation for Edwin van der Sar as he comes off.
Well, he's not lost any from him, has he? He could come back and play in the Premier League next year, the way he's performed out there today.
A manager who's so enjoyed having him as an eventual successor to Peter Schmeichel, and the long-time understudy on in his place, 8 years Van der Sar's senior, 50-year-old Raymond van der Houw. He's now the goalkeeping coach at Vitesse. Thornley. Van Nistelrooy. Here's Martin. York.
Oh, he's in one.
Van Nistelrooy again. And Cole! Good save by Carlos Sanchez. Took off to his left.
Terrific save. You've got to say the fitness standards of Ruud van Nistelrooy, tremendous. Ah, well done, goalkeeper. Yeah, he's not lost any of his sharpness. Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, terrific save by the goalkeeper.
York. Johnson. Well, it's game on again. Manchester United back within 1. If the scores are level on aggregate after 90 minutes, there's no extra time. It's straight to a penalty shootout. And of course, with rolling substitutions, Van der Sar could come back on. Well, Zidane felt that he was mugged there.
Might have been.
Cole. Scholes.
He's crowded out, Paul. Crowd desperate for him to have a shot. One of his trademark specials before the end, hopefully.
Figo. De La Red.
That was one of his trademark tackles, Paul. Wasn't it awful?
And
awful.
Trademark
challenge.
result, a free kick against.
For once he's not getting his name taken.
Kevin Friend will be disappointed. He was telling us before that his all-time record for the fewest free kicks in a game is 4, and that was in the League Cup final between Bradford and Swansea. And he's given more than that in this friendly.
Yeah, and he's been kind as well half the time.
Zidane is lining one up, and it came off the heel of Ronnie Johnson.
Yeah, they can go anywhere when they hit somebody. This goes the right side of the post for United, the wrong side for him.
Well, when the respective first teams met just 3 months ago, Manchester United led on the night but lost in the Champions League amidst much controversy. Here it was Real Madrid who scored first through Morientes in the 40th minute. Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's in the mood, levelled after 68. One back heel, not enough.
Oh dear me. A little bit younger, Andy, you'd have been after that.
Zidane.
That's a great ball.
Wonderful vision to pick out Luis Figo.
Well done, Ronnie Johnson.
Now it's Ben Thornley. There's rather more cut and thrust to this game now. It's Cole.
Don't foul him, Andy.
Just picked his pocket instead. Paul Scholes. Thornley. Cole. Van Nistelrooy. Johnson. Quinton Fortune. Now Lee Martin, cup winner back in 1990. Fortune, back to Johnson. Here's Thornley. And Nistelrooy with a touch that was just a bit too deft. Zidane. Quarter of an hour to play here at Old Trafford. Crowd in excess of 60,000. Hierro. Oof. That hit Martin rather than him dealing with it, and it's a corner.
Came off the ground very quickly for him. He's a wry smile.
Steve McManaman getting the boos.
Yeah.
It's rough on someone who lives pretty close to the ground here in Hale.
Yeah, he won't bother him.
Manchester resident, Greater Manchester at least. Here's Amavisca now. Playful boos, really. Zidane. Morientes. There's De La Red shot.
Yeah, good block.
Now Jose Emilio Amavisca. He's really a winger, even though he's started at left back today.
It's got to be a free kick, surely.
I think Jaap Stam fixed the referee with a stare, and Mr. Friend didn't dare give it. Jaap Stam is struggling actually after that challenge. He's limping pretty heavily.
I think it'd be the other way around, wouldn't you?
You would. Well, Real Madrid are going to send their own manager on in a minute. Rafael Martin Vázquez.
Just touch too heavy.
This was the crunch collision.
Well, I certainly would have given a free kick, but the referee didn't.
Vázquez, no slouch himself, 38 caps for Spain, 6 La Liga titles with Real Madrid, and warm applause for the man he's replacing, Luis Figo.
Great respect for his ability, Luis Figo.
Let's hear it for Luis Figo, Old Trafford.
Well, sundry substitutions now. One of the players replaced, Lee Sharp, and we can hear words of wisdom from him now with Ian. So Lee Sharp's hamstring, Henningberg's Achilles. Before the game had even started, Teddy Sheringham pulled out lame, Dion Dublin broken collarbone. It's a good job that there isn't another Legends game planned in the near future for Manchester United. They might struggle to raise a team. The side that they have got out at the moment, still managing to be competitive and still in with a chance of possibly taking this game to a penalty shootout. Thornley. Scholes. There's York. And now Lee Martin. Manchester United with 3 in the box.
Oh, dear me, the goalie made a mess of that, hasn't he? But fortunately for Madrid, no United player close. Yeah, when the ball comes in, there's no United player there.
Thornley. Yeah. Into the last 10 minutes and into the last 10 minutes of the life of this pitch, which has lasted 10 years at Old Trafford. And tomorrow morning the diggers will move in, ready for it to be replaced.
Oh, handball
by Scholes.
Pretty blatant, that one.
So was the penalty that wasn't given in the first half.
Yes, that's true.
Zidane. There's York. Scholes again. Inventively looking for Cole, and there's York. It's actually going wide.
Nice little bit of football. But unfortunately, it doesn't produce the goal that's needed.
Morientes. Zidane. McManaman. So Rafael Martin Vasquez. Ruben de la Red. Incidentally, the two Manchester United players who have yet to appear from the bench are Jesper Blomqvist and the player-manager Brian Robson. Van Nistelrooy has made a difference to Manchester United since swapping sides at half-time.
Certainly has.
Martin. Scholes. Van Nistelrooy. Martin.
Always take the chance of going.
And there is York! Oh! Johnson, ball still alive. And eventually conjured away by Hierro, and the break could be on at the other end. Ruben de la Red. Well timed by Quinton Fortune. But Manchester United fractions away from levelling this Manchester United Legends Cup on aggregate. Scholes. Still conditioned to be a winner. Just 2 weeks out of the professional game. It's Thornley. It's Dwight York.
Too tight there, Dwight.
Morientes. And here's Ruben de la Red. It's a delightful finish.
Yeah, terrific goal.
And it probably polishes Manchester United off.
Yeah, I would think so. Terrific goal. Not a great deal a goalie can do about this. Just the cleverness of it. Well done. Yeah, a clever little ball from Morientes, but that's even better. Yeah, for a few minutes there we were thinking United were the ones that were going to score the next goal, but no, Real Madrid.
Finished with a sand wedge.
Yeah.
And at the other end, Dwight York and co were inches away from making it 4 apiece on aggregate. All in the space of a minute.
Yeah, well, it's the one at Sands that comes down off the crossbar and hits, actually. I don't think he knows too much about it. It hits the defender. Oh. Yeah, unfortunate that, but that's football.
Well, Real Madrid with a 2-goal lead now overall. That should be enough to see them through.
Yeah, there's so little time left.
Scholes. The same scoreline in this Legends game as the two first teams produced.
Oh, it just didn't get the break there. It could have easily broke to Dwight York. Unfortunate, Clinton. Jesper Blomqvist going to make an appearance now.
Substitution for Manchester United, replacing number 12, Ben Thornley. Let's give a nice big old chap with welcome on the return of number 15, Jesper Blomqvist.
Well, Ben Thornley's had just over half an hour. Jesper Blomqvist will get 3.5 minutes. Another player from the '99 Champions League final.
Oh.
Cole. Goalkeeper came with his feet, Carlos Sanchez. Robin de la Red.
Trouble for United.
So much space for Fernando Sanz. As well as being the son of the former president, Lorenzo Sanz is also Michel Salgado's brother-in-law. But that won't stop him being offside.
I'm not so sure he was, actually.
Van Nistelrooy.
Oh, he just didn't get enough on it, did he, Johnny? Stuck his foot up, but didn't get enough on it.
Scholes. Van Nistelrooy. Jesper Blomqvist. And Van Nistelrooy again!
Oh, couldn't keep it down. You're giving a corner, linesman. Oh, he's on the dead ball. Yeah, you get plenty of power on it, but it's rising all the time.
Well, regardless of the result on the pitch, the result off it will be hugely beneficial to the Manchester United Foundation and its ongoing efforts to raise funds to help young people in disadvantaged areas of Greater Manchester. Further enhances the warm relationship between Manchester United and Real Madrid, which dates back more than half a century. Irwin. Blomqvist.
I'm just laughing there. Very difficult with a lot older to take people on.
Fortune.
Somebody got ahead to this.
Blomqvist.
Wrong one.
Roars for handball. It's crept up suspiciously close to Hierro's arm. Real Madrid have got two men over on this side. Here's McManaman. De la Red.
Oh,
Time
great
stood
effort.
still.
Just past the post. I think that might be the final kick.
Kevin Friend poised. Looks at one watch. Glances at a second.
Will he wait to see what comes of this attack?
It's looking that way. Probably the last attack of the match. Van Nistelrooy.
Oh,
There
what
was
a chance.
Scholes was there as well. Neither of them could capitalise. And there is the final whistle, which confirms Real Madrid as the winners by 2 goals to 1 on the day and by 5 goals to 3 on aggregate. Fernando Morientes with the first half goal for Real Madrid. Ruud van Nistelrooy, having played the first half for the Spanish team, swapped sides and scored the equaliser with 22 minutes to play. And then Ruben de la Red polished off Manchester United off the bench, a lovely, delightful chipped finish. And that came 5 minutes from time. 3-2 to Real Madrid last year, 2-1 to them here at Old Trafford 12 months on. Defeat for Brian Robson and company. There will be a trophy presentation and a chance for the crowd to give one last round of applause and to acclaim some world-class names who have performed for their entertainment in the sunshine at Old Trafford today. Ruben de la Red, scorer of the final goal, and good to see him back in action after his retirement ridiculously early because of a heart condition. The former manager, as we now have to call him, stayed until the very end and will be part of the gathering for the trophy presentation. Zinedine Zidane, who looks like he could still play at a pretty high level, still glides across the turf. And Luis Figo was another who took the eye with an ageless performance. Paul Scholes, a target for one or two of the Real Madrid players to have their picture taken. And that in itself is a compliment to the man who hails from Salford. One or two spectators trying to beat the rush. Edwin van der Sar, another man who was excellent in the first half, replaced later on by Raymond van der Houw. But he made 3 top-class saves and kept Real Madrid out for far longer than might otherwise have been the case. We have the same scoreline as the 2 first teams produced 3 months ago in the last 16 of the Champions League. Nowhere near the same amount of controversy, but the outcome is the same. Disappointing for Manchester United, but that wasn't really the main point of the day. The whole point was to raise funds for the Manchester United Foundation. David Gill, the chief executive, the outgoing chief executive of Manchester United, is down on the pitch at the moment, just awaiting some direction. He is planning to address the crowd. He's going to do so without a script.
Good
Seems to
footballer,
be
John.
in vogue. Yes.
Good footballer, David.
Yes.
Yeah.
And his son too.
Yeah.
Was on the books.
Yeah, good player, David.
David Gill just composing himself, and the players waiting for a little bit of direction. That's what it's all been about. It is the inaugural Manchester United Legends Cup, which we're led to believe will be contested again in future years, not next year, which is set aside for Soccer Aid, but in 2015 the Legends Cup is likely to return to the summer itinerary here at Old Trafford. Manchester United, players applauding spectators, and spectators in turn clapping players, many of whom they haven't seen for a good number of years now. They defied their years, though, to produce an entertaining football match. Down on the pitch now, we can hear from the outgoing chief executive of Manchester United, who will soon present the trophy, and that is David Gill.
Thank you, Alan. A magnificent occasion here today, and I'd like to just say a few thank yous. Firstly to you all, thank you very much indeed in turning up in your thousands, a wonderful gate of roughly 60,000 today. We really appreciate it because you've made it so special, and through your efforts we will raise well over £800,000 for the Manchester United Foundation, which will be put to very good use in the Manchester area. I'd also like to say some thanks to everyone involved. This event has been in the planning for about a year. Lots of people, both at the foundation and within Manchester United, have worked extremely hard to put on this wonderful festival today, and I'd like to thank them for all their efforts. Thank you very much indeed. Also to the artists, to JLS, Tinchy and Amelia, thank you very much indeed for making this a real family day out, and your performance before was fantastic. Finally, also thank you to our great friends from Real Madrid. Unfortunately, that's twice they've beaten us here 2-1 this season, but there you go, you can't have everything. But we thank them, Emilio and all the team. Thank you very much indeed for being with us. And also a great thanks to Captain Marvel, to Brian Robson, who's put a lot of effort in, as you can see. The team, what shape they were in, absolutely unbelievable. So thank you very much indeed to Brian and all the Manchester United players, the Real Madrid players who've put on this today. So on behalf of everyone, thank you very much indeed. Thanks, Alan.
Old Trafford, let's hear it once again for David Gill. Thank you, David.
Received
it's been a fantastic
by
afternoon.
the Old Trafford faithful. In fact, to call them the faithful is slightly misleading. because happily this is an event that provides access to this famous ground for spectators who may not be able to get their hands on tickets for regular games in the Premier League and the Champions League. First up for the presentation are the officials led by Kevin Friend. Paddy Crowand alongside me. What are your overriding feelings about today's game, today's occasion?
I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it because there's lots of great players out there that are, even at my age, you've still got heroes that are footballers. When you look at some of the Real Madrid players and the Manchester United players, some of the best players that have played football. So it's great to see them, and I think the crowd have been fantastic. The whole thing's been terrific. It's just a pity it's not a yearly thing, but there again.
Well, it may become that in future years. There seems to be a desire and an appetite for Legends football.
Yes, there is. I mean, particularly at this stadium anyway, and I'm sure when you looked at the crowd they got in Madrid, it was 80,000, I think.